Really?
Yeah.
See, so you grew up with that, knowing that information. Because, you know, so many times people are pursuing their careers and they're going through things and they come up against this, you know, winning streak and they're winning and things are going great and rolling along, and then all of a sudden you hit a bump in the road.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa, what's this bump in the road?
No, I always knew that bands,
the bumps would pass.
Yeah, because there were always a lot of bands that I liked when I was a kid growing up that never were successful.
Did you ever doubt your abilities?
Never once.
Did you never doubted once?
Never.
That's good parenting.
Never.
Your parents instilled a very strong belief system with you within yourself.
Yeah, I just knew I was good at what I did.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Okay, so then what was your next thing that came after?
What was the next big thing after pop music? I had a lot of big dance records. I got into, you know, the new wave dance side of things. And then I had a big hit with this band out of England. Actually, I started working with Depeche Mode, brought Depeche Mode in.
Did you discover Depeche Mode?
Seymour and I did. I mean, we developed this relationship with this guy, Daniel Miller.
Okay.
Seymour developed the relationship. He brought it in, but then I was in England, and I had a meeting with Daniel, and he said, "You want to hear my new band?" I said, "Sure." And he played me the single called Dreaming of Me by Depeche Mode. I said, "This is amazing. So we'll do the deal." And he's like, "Well, play it for Seymour." So I played for Seymour, and Seymour said, "Done." So we did it. But I worked with Depeche for years.
You did?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were amazing band
Yeah,
as
they
well.
were great. But then my next really big record was this, I picked up another thing. I was doing a lot of work in England. I picked up this band called Soft Cell. And we had a huge hit with a song called Tainted Love.
Oh.
That's still all over the radio.
Yeah, how does that go? Wait a minute.
Tell me.
Tainted Love. Something. You want to sing it to me?
Da-doop boop. It has that da-doop boop.
Boop.
Yeah.
Is that all you're going to do?
That's all I'm going to do. I'm not
Okay.
going to sing. Huge hit. And yeah, that was really huge.
Right.
And I remember I got it I did that deal.
Tainted Love. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I'm
I did that deal for, I remember meeting with Roger Ames in London, and I told Roger I just wanted to put the single out. I gave him $10,000 for the single, okay? And he said, "No, you have to take the album. I'll let you have it for $10,000, but you have to put the album out too." I said, "Okay."
Really?
Yeah.
He wouldn't give you the single, but you had to take the album, and he'd give the whole. That's
Yeah.
like giving you a whole package.
Exactly.
How many other great songs were on that album?
I had a couple. I mean, we sold probably 1 million albums and a couple million singles.
Really?
Yeah, for $10,000 investment.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we did good on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's really amazing.
But you got to remember, back in those days, Seymour and I would go to Europe, to England especially, and pick up these bands that, like, Soft Cell was on Polydor or Phonogram in England, which was part of Polydor in America. But Polydor in America wasn't picking up any of that new wave crap. They hated it.
Right.
So Seymour and I would go to Europe and just wheel and deal with all these guys. And there was like maybe 1 or 2 other labels that were competing with us. Nobody cared about it. It hadn't broken yet.
Wow.
You know?
You were on the cutting edge.
Yeah. So we were, yeah.
How long were you with Seymour?
Like 7 years.
7 years. That's right. You told me that.
Yeah.
Gosh.
Yeah.
And
then it led into, right after when Tainted Love was still a big hit, that's when I discovered Madonna.
okay, tell me about that now. Tell me. Let's set the scene because this is huge.
Set the scene.
I mean, come on. This
yeah,
is huge,
most people
Michael.
have heard of her. Yeah.
Most people in the world
Yeah,
have
I've heard
of
of her. Yeah.
Madonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, and today on my email, I spelled it Modonna.
Yeah.
Oh my God. I didn't mean to do that. But anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah,
So I was hanging out a lot at this club in New York called Danceteria,
right.
which is a really great club on 22nd Street.
Is it still there?
No,
I
long
remember
gone.
Danceteria.
That was that club and the Mud Club are my 2 favorite clubs ever.
I didn't know the Mud Club.
Yeah.
Where was that?
That was down on White Street, just off Broadway, down in Tribeca.
Okay.
Did a lot of drugs at both of those clubs.
Did you?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I remember a friend of mine, Jane from the Go-Go's.
Oh.
She came up to me. She was actually a couple of the Go-Go's were their first time to New York. A couple of them were staying at my apartment.
I know Kathy from the Go-Go's.
Yeah, I know Kathy.
Yeah, she's great.
And so Jane comes out to me freaking out, saying, "I can't believe it, Michael. They're putting us on at 2 a.m." And I said, "Jane, that's the #1 slot. That's She goes, "Aren't people going to be going home by then?" I go, No, it's going to be peak time."
Yeah.
She was like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "No."
Just watch.
Yeah. So she was right. Yeah, that was such a great club. So I'm hanging out at Danceteria, and the DJ there is a really good friend of mine by the name of Mark Kamens, and he told me about this girl who has been coming up to the DJ booth and trying to get him to play her demo tape.
Wow.
And he hadn't played it over the thing. He hadn't even heard it yet, but he told me that she looked amazing and he was trying to do her, you know? So I'm actually, and I swear this is a true story, okay?
Okay.
So I'm at the second floor bar and I'm actually out with George Michael and Andrew Ridgeley from Wham.
Wow.
Because I know I was friendly with Mark Dean and they were on Intervision Records and Mark Dean was Intervision Records.
Right.
And it was right before their first album came out and Mark wanted them to get a flavor of New York, the club scene, so they could do some club mixes. So he brought him out to New York, and I was their guide. I was taking them to a bunch of different clubs that night. So I have the two guys from Wham, Mark Dean, myself, we're hanging out at the bar, and then I see this girl walk in and go up to the bar, and to go up to the DJ booth, okay? And she looked amazing. So I said, this has got to be this chick that Mark Gaiman's telling me about. So I went up to the DJ booth, introduced myself,